Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us. We're very excited. It's Guitar Shabbat, and before Yehuda begins, we're going to light candles. And if you have candles at home, you're invited to join with Sherry as she lights candles. Remember, the blessing is Asher Kitshana b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'halim shel Shabbat. You, O God, have brought holiness into our lives by commanding us to kindle the Shabbat flames.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'alik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Shkoyach. And now we begin. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharetz, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlokim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Borchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlokim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barkuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlokim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeichem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlokim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Angels have come and angels are now departing, and we are still uplifted because we recognize that that additional soul is joining us, Yedid Nefesh, reminding us that we are blessed with a soul, a gift of God's own nature, Yedid Nefesh.
Yedid Nefesh V'Rachman, Yedid Nefesh V'Rachman, Meshocha Decha, El Ratzonecha, Meshocha Decha, Yadadadadada, El Ratzonecha, Yarut Savdecha, Ke amo ayal Yishtachave yadadai yadadadadai El Ratzonecha. Yedid Nefesh V'Rachman, Yedid Nefesh V'Rachman, Meshochav Decha, El Ratzonecha. Meshochav Decha, Yadadadadai, El Mul Hagarecha.
Ma Tov Olech Yaakov, how beautiful it is to be one of the constituent elements of the tabernacle, and in fact even the temple. Your home, connected to your home, connected to all of our homes, connected to the shul, is the embodiment of Jewish people all over the world simultaneously. Ma Tovu Olech Yaakov.
Ma משכנתך ישראל, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנתך ישראל, ואני ברוב עשך, אהבו וצאך, אשתחווה אל קודשך, ביראתך, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנתך ישראל, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנתך ישראל.
A few years ago, when Yudah was augmenting and enhancing our service, he brought a melody, He That Keepeth Israel, into our shoal. And over the years, Yehuda has continued to expand his repertoire, and he's composed a number of new melodies. And this is a new melody of He That Keepeth Israel, which comes from the sentences in the book of Psalms. He that keepeth Israel slumbereth nor sleep. God protects the people of Israel. Hine Le'anum, a new melody composed by Yehuda.
Heathens, keepeth Yisrael. Heathen, keepeth Yisrael. Neither slumbers nor sleeps. Neither slumbers nor sleeps. Heathens, keepeth Yisrael. Heathens, keepeth Yisrael, neither slumbers nor sleeps, neither slumbers nor sleeps. Hine lo yanu velo yeshan, hine lo yanu velo yeshan, shomer Yisrael, shomer Yisrael. Heathens, keepeth Yisrael. Heathens, keepeth Yisrael, neither slumbers nor sleeps, neither slumbers nor sleeps, neither slumbers nor sleeps.
For 500 years, we've been saying, come on, folks, it's time to sing. Time to get warmed up a little bit for Shabbat. That's what L'chun Ranana is. It's a psalm which is maybe 3,000 years old, but it was incorporated into the Friday evening service about 500 years ago by a group of mystics living in northern Israel. L'chun Ranana literally means, come on, let's start singing together. L'chun Ranana.
God, my phone, I bet so dark. soda. Maria, Maria, let's yeshenu. Bismirot Naria love. Lachune ranina, la 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 la. Lachune ranina, lachune ranina. La 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 la, lachune ranina, lachune ranina, lachune ranina, lachune ranina.
Lechu literally means y'all get going and singing. And now in the next moment, Shiru, also a piece that Yehuda composed himself. And I'm just very excited that Yehuda is composing so many pieces for all of us to enjoy. Shiru means literally all sing. And just for a moment before Yehuda begins his next piece, tell the nations of God's glory, describe God's wonders among all peoples. Adonai is great, surely to be praised. God fashioned the heavens. And the best way of communicating that idea, which comes from Psalm number 96, is to sing. And that's why Yehuda is here tonight. He's giving of his heart and of his spirit for us to sing together. Shiru, sing, and remind ourselves how God fashioned the world itself and we within the world. Shiru. Sing to God a new song. Sing to God all the lands. Sing to God and praise His name and tell of His saving hand. Shiru Adonai, Shir Sing to God a new song. Sing to God all the lands. Sing to God and praise His name and tell of His saving hand. Shiru Adonai, Shir And now you're learning Hebrew because Lechu means come on, let's, and Shira means singing, and Romamu means all. Lift up your voices. Lechu, Shiru, Romamu, and then in a few minutes, the Borchu. Whenever you hear that sound oo at the end of a word, you know that whoever is saying something, that person is talking to everyone in the entire community. Romamu, if you have the Siddur on page number 20.
והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו.
Shkoyach. L'chadodei. Shabbat itself is coming in the door. Shabbat feels welcome because of the singing that Yehuda is sharing with us and the Ruach that we're all generating each in our own homes. L'chadodei. Yehuda, first and second and last, which stanzas are we singing tonight?
First, second, and last.
First, second, and last. On page 23, the first two stanzas. Page 25, if you have the Siddur, the last stanza is Bowie.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל הנכד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תיגרת לתהילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכוונך, כי מקור הברכה, לראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעטה שבת הצילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. אוהי ושלום עצר פעלה, גם בשמחה ובשמחה, אור כמוני ענצי גאולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Remaining standing, just a little bit of the Psalm for Shabbat prior to the Baruch Hu. On page number 28, it's the last two stanzas on the English side, page 28, prior to the Baruch Hu. The psalm is named the Psalm for Shabbat, and it's in the Tanakh, it's in the Bible that way, labeled. This is the Psalm for Shabbat. The last two stanzas. The righteous flourish like the date palm. The righteous thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, which means that the righteous are as magnificent as a beautiful and majestic tree. And we all know that trees nutrify the earth. Righteous nutrify the surrounding, the environment itself. Planted in the house of Adonai, the righteous flourish in our God's courtyards. We are planted in God's own special place. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming, Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no flaw. The Psalm of Shabbat is reminding us that God loves each and every one of us, and each of us has the capacity to be a righteous force for improving the world. The Baruch Hu, if you have the Siddur, page 39b. Baruch Hu et Adonai Amavorach. Baruch Adonai Amavorach Le'olam Vaed. And as we're seated, a little bit of the English prior to Yehuda singing Ahavat Olam. For now, the English bracha. Baruch Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, you completed your work of creation on the seventh day, calling this day from one evening to the next the Holy Shabbat, and gave this day of rest in all its holiness to your people Israel, creator of day and night, rolling light before darkness and darkness from light, making day pass and bringing on the evening, distinguishing day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Olam Voed. Baruch Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam. God's love fills the universe. God's love is as much a part of the universe as Hama'ariv Aravim, this prior blessing. Love is as much a part of the world as day and night. Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Ahavat Olam, Beiti Yisrael, Ahavta. All the world sings to you, the world sings to you. All the world sings to you, the world sings to you. The song of the trees when the wind stirs their leaves. The song of the earth when rain soothes its thirst. Song of the sea when waves are set free. The song of the sky when hummingbirds fly. Ahavat Olam, Ahavat Olam, Beiti Yisrael, Ahavta. All the world sings to you, the world sings to you. All the world sings to you, the world sings to you. The song of the trees when wind stirs their leaves. Song of the earth when rain soothes its thirst. The song of the sea when waves are set free. The song of the sky when hummingbirds fly. Ahavat Olam, Ahavat Olam, Beiti Yisrael, Ahavta. All the world sings to you, the world sings to you. All the world sings to you, the world sings to you.
V'avatachal tesim mimenu la'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema v'ahavta.
God is a faithful king. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levacha, v'chol nafshecha, v'chol meodecha, ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele, asher anoki mitzavecha yom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibartam bam. B'shivtecha b'techa, u'v'lechtecha v'derech, u'v'shachbecha u'v'kamecha, u'shartam le'ot al yadecha, ve'hayu le'totafot b'neinecha, u'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'hishorecha.
Moment of silence. Adonai Elohechem emet, the Mi Chamocha on page 44. Again, another composition by Yehuda Silverwolf. Mi Chamocha, page 44.
Gotta tune my guitar. Mi chamocha v'lim Adonai, mi chamocha nedor b'kodesh, Norah ta'ilo tosei felem, Norah ta'ilo tosei felem, Malchutecha u'avanecha, Okeyam lifnei Moshe, Zeili amru ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'elam vayed.
And so it is written, Adonai has rescued Jacob. God has redeemed Jacob from the hand of those more powerful than he. Blessed are you, God, who redeemed the people Israel. And it's on the heels of that prayer that God redeemed us thousands of years ago, that this next bracha, this next blessing is constructed. It's the Hashkivenu. It's a prayer not focused on the past, the ancient days crossing the sea, but it's on the here and the now, this night. Hashkivenu, oh God, help us all, every single one of us, this night, to find a sense of rest and calm as we prepare to place our heads on our pillows. The Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Mehamidenu Malkeinu leChayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Mehamidenu Malkeinu leChayim. Ufros Aleinu, Sukkot Shlomecha, L'chaim u'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Malkeinu leChayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Malkeinu leChayim. U'leChayim.
Awaken us to life in the morning. And now, Vishamru. If you have the Siddur, it's on page number 46. Vishamru means all of y'all Jewish people come together and literally observe Shabbat together. Vishamru, the top of page number 46.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledotam beritzom. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shemayim ve'et haaretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beritzom. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledotam beritzom. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledotam beritzom.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabo
Amen.
Yomotrei b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beis Yisrael bagala uv'izman kariv imero. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach Le'olam le'olmei olmaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yirma v'yinaseh v'yidadar v'yitale v'yitalal Shemei dekodesh abrichu le'la mikor b'chata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran me'olma v'imero. Amen. We are invited to rise. The traditional prayer found in the Siddur, pages 47 to 52, is offered in a silent manner, and some may have a Siddur, some may not. I point out that we members of Ahavas Chesed have our own kotel. And many of us have had the opportunity or the bracha to go to Israel and see the kotel and stand in front of the kotel in person. And perhaps you have and perhaps not yet. But we have our very own kotel. And I want you to see your prayers. I want to envision your thoughts and your meditations entering the kotel. Starting here with this aron, this ark, and by the power of your focus and your spirit, joining those of all Jewish people who've ever stood in the presence of the kotel. And whether you actually have the Siddur or whether you're compiling your own prayers, consider the force and the strength you have this evening. A few moments of silence. The concluding bracha, the concluding blessing of the Amida this evening is the prayer Shalom Rav. May there be great peace. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata'u melech hador Lechol HaShalom. Ki ata'u melech hador Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amha Tasim Le'olam. Etov einecha levarech Et Amcha Yisrael Bechol etz ubechol shah Bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
It's our fervent prayer that God hear the prayer that you had just sang. May there be great peace for the entire world. Now, full Kaddish, Neil Sass.
Iskadav, Shemay, Rabal, Bialma, Dibrach, Yurisavia, Mekmaku Savaka, Konav Yamekonaka, Yedika, Basis Roa, Baka, Always Makari, Yemaru, Amen, Yeheshmay, Rabal, Magorach, the Olam, Maya. Isparach, Istabach, Isparvis, Romavius, Nasavius, Adarvis, Alevis, Alos, Made the Kudashop, Reachu, Lay Lami, Cobra Casa, Vashirasa, Tuspakasa, Vadekamasa, Dami, Rumbi, Homavi, Yamru, Amen. Tiskabel, Salosa, Hon, Urus, Ahon, Tachabi, Yisrael, Kadam, Avuhon, Dibismai, Yamaru, Amen. Yeheslam, Rabba, Menshemai, Chayim, Alen of Yaka, Yisrael, Yamaru, Amen. O Seshalom, Bimramov, Hu Yaseshalom, Alen of Yaka, Yisrael, Yamaru, Amen.
Shkoyach, Nosan Arle. Just a thought. First, you're probably wondering why I'm holding what looks like a chafing dish. And yes, I am holding a chafing dish. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. But when I was growing up as a child, I knew, even as a youngster, that the people in our synagogue who were named Cohen or Cohn had some kind of a special stature. And later, much later, I learned that there are other people who had a similar name. Cohen became Khan, Katz, which is an abbreviation of Kohen Tzedek, a righteous Kohen, Kagan, and many others, and also Siegel. Why Siegel? Siegel means Sgan Levi, the Levi helper. And some are familiar with the names Leibowitz, Levine, Levi, Levi, and the like. And these names represent that 3,300 years ago, we had a very specific community, one tribe out of 13. Yes, there were 13 because one tribe split into two. And so 12 became 13. So the one tribe that was designated for worship and for communal leadership. And now that brings me to what looks like a chafing dish. In the ancient days, going back to the time of Moses and Aaron, we learned that there were 5 big shots, 5 Kohanim, out of 22,300 Levi. And these 5 big shots held a certain kind of a metal pan. We think that actually the pan was probably rectangular, but a handle. And what's important about a metal pan is that these 5 big shots, the 5 head honchos, Aaron and his 4 adult sons would put a little bit of charcoal in this pan and put some incense on the charcoal, and the incense would waft up, and they did this only when they were standing right in front of the Holy of Holies. at a pivotal moment in the worship service. So if you had this, you were the one who was this close to God's front door. Nobody else had what we now call a chafing dish. And now backing up a little bit, we learn that in the entire book of Exodus, great deal of information is focused on Aaron the high priest, not only as leading the worship service and you might say hefting that chafing dish or that incense pan, but also coming out to the community when people were sick, when people were ill. Strikingly, 1 out of 5 men authorized to stand at God's front door was to leave his worship leadership duties behind and go out to the community when someone was ill. That's how important it is for people to reach out to those who are ill or sick or afflicted. 1 out of 5 was leaving the community's worship and going out to where people were, leaving 4 out of 5 on duty, you might say. Aaron, the leader of all leaders. That communicates a great deal. When somebody is sick, everything is supposed to stop, and we are supposed to go out and minister unto these people. And now we fast forward with that background in our minds to this week's Torah reading, because somebody gets sick in this week's Torah reading. And you would think that Aaron, because he's the chief healer, he's the one who's supposed to be attending to people who are sick, he's on duty 24/7, would reach out to this woman who's sick, but he doesn't. And what's painful and striking about this specific episode in tomorrow's Torah reading is that the woman who gets very sick is Aaron's older sister. Her name is Miriam. Miriam is the eldest. Aaron is the middle. Moses is the baby. Moses is 80. Aaron is 83. We don't know how old Miriam is. Miriam gets sick. And in a moment of, I'm not sure what, but I hazard a guess, maybe it's family panic, family distress, or something, Aaron can't summon up the energy that he has typically, or the responsibility that he's associated normally with, to tend his own sister. And he turns to Moses, his own baby brother, the youngest of the 3 siblings, and he says, "Oh, Moses," actually he says, "Oh, my sir," as if he needs to set a certain protocol in motion. "Oh, my sir, please go heal her. Please go pray. Please go intercede on her behalf." And Moses offers one of the most evocative and intense Hebrew prayers in our entire tradition, Rafan Allah. It's very powerful because of the structure and the grammar and the rhyme scheme. Literally means, oh, please heal her, God. And according to tradition, she is ill, but within a week, she comes back to herself. And the way I read the text, the whole community is almost frozen, almost in limbo, because they see Miriam, their prophetess, ill, nearly paralyzed, but she's coming back slowly. And it strikes me that Aaron, the high priest, the man who's on duty 24/7, the man who's described to us in the book of Exodus as having a chief responsibility of going out and ministering to the people who is sick, doesn't quite fulfill that task when he's standing by his own sister. I wonder what you and I can learn from this very evocative and intense, extreme, pivotal family scene. Sometimes when you and I are involved in our own family dynamic, even if we are very capable, even if we have qualities and skills and power, because of the intensity of the emotional connection, it goes out the door. And we have to turn to someone else. We have to be willing to accept that we are vulnerable and we are limited. We cannot always accomplish that which even people know we can always accomplish. We cannot always rise to the challenge because sometimes we're just human. So if Aaron the high priest, who nearly as often as Moses talks with God and is accorded the great stature of holding onto the fire pan, recognizes and accepts his own limitations when coming to a family situation and calls out for someone else to help him, then all the more so you and I have the capacity to recognize our limitations. And when somebody we know, someone we love, is hurting, is ill, if we can't quite, because of our own frailties, accomplish what needs to be done, we offer the fullness of ourselves, and we also offer the help from someone else. May we be granted the clarity of sight to identify somebody who can help us help each other. May we all be blessed with that power, that love, that opportunity to bring healing and strength. And we all say, Amen. Let's rise. Let's make Kiddush. Hopefully you have Kiddush at home. We have wine or grape juice, maybe a bit of bread for the hamotzi. And if you have the Siddur, the Kiddush is before us here on page number 55. On page number 55. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam borei peri hagofen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uv'ratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'yahava v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Motzi, take it away.
Ha-motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ha-motzi lechem min haaretz.
Remaining standing, the Aleinu is on page number 56. Aleinu is on page 56. Yehuda?
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol Latet gidula leotzer bereshit Shelo asanu kegoye haratzot Velo samanu kamishmehot hadama Shalo sam hokenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim humodim, lifnei melech malkei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shehu notei shamayim v'yosed haaretz, Umoshav yikaro hashamayim mima'al, ushkinatu zo, begave meromim, hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu ebezulato, kakatu betorato, viratayom v'hashivota el levavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, Bashamayim mimahal v'al haaretz mitat einod. To Toratecha, Adonai yimloch lelam vayed. V'nehemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad ushmo echad.
In a moment we shall recite Kaddish, and those who are reciting Kaddish are invited to rise at this time. Our homes are gathered together, and all in various homes and locations are building a chain. And it's by this building of a chain where we're all connected to each other that we establish a new and different type of Kedusha, of sanctity. We remember with great love Rosie Dannenberg, Moshe Berger, Florence Kleinerman, Alexander Maisel, Isidore Back, Paul Braun, Lee Hall, Natalie Lichtenfeld, Bob Whitlock, Harry Meisler, Harry Rips, Edith Goldhar, Tuba Elias, Jeanette Newmark, Hava Dasa Addis Rakwitz, Abe Fisher, Stella Sussman, Morris Gutlow, Annie Tobin, Leon Eplin, Paul Buckstein. If you know someone else whose name you'd like to mention, please do so at this moment. The Kaddish aloud together. Yitzgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba. Amen. Be'olma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabba mivarach la'olam ololmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitdaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'olma v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. We attach the names of our loved ones to the name of God. It's that hope, it's that need to hope that can sustain us in times of great loss, great anguish, that the name of your loved one is rooted in the name of the enduring everything that spans this universe and beyond this universe. We're grateful to Melaine and Ernie Tacky for sponsoring the flowers on the bima this evening and for tomorrow, in loving memory of their son Alexander Maisel. May love and beauty continue, and may we all be comforted. We all say Amen. We are nearly concluded. Just a couple of brief announcements, and then we'll conclude with a new song composed by Yehuda, a new melody of Eliyahu Hanavi. We're so proud. This man is just becoming so creative, and we're really excited about it. Just a couple of reminders, of course. Tomorrow's services on YouTube, 10 to 11:15. Tomorrow evening, Havdalah on Zoom at 8 o'clock. Monday, the shul office is closed. It's Memorial Day. We're temporarily canceling Monday Tanakh. Tuesday, Adult Hebrew is on Zoom at 3 o'clock. Tuesday, the Spirit series continues at 5 o'clock, also on Zoom. The topic for Zoom Spirit is, which of your ancestors inspires you? Who is your role model? And Thursday is story time for toddlers on Zoom. Next Friday, woohoo, we're coming back into the building. Vaccinated people, come on in. Friday night and Shabbos morning and in future services, you just need to be vaccinated. We'll be in the main sanctuary, and people can have the opportunity to spread out if they're so inclined. Just be vaccinated, that's all you need. Friday night and Saturday from now on, starting next week. And next week is Shir Shabbat. We're very excited about Danielle and Josh's singing on the bima. That means in person, and we'll see each other. And I think with that, we're going to call it a day. And again, say thank you to David Smith for organizing all the electronic whatchamacallit that helps bring Yehuda's leading of music and song into all of our homes this evening. And we'll conclude with Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, a messenger of hope, of being connected, of being established, rooted in peace and faith. Yehuda. Thank you, Yehuda, and Litrot until we see each other, and may that be soon. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom.